Evening, everyone. Thanks, Adya. Hello, good evening, everyone. I am Shruti Sood, Business Head, Middle East and Africa for VS. I'm sure most of you, rather all of you, would be aware of what we do. We are a digital coaching and a mentoring platform, and we believe in the transformation of people performance through goal-driven coaching. So, hence today's session is all about coaching in the age of AI, where we are just harnessing and not really replacing the human touch. As technology is continuing to shape our world, coaching is also evolving. And we all now know that AI is no longer a concept, theoretical concept. It's so much ingrained in us. So, in today's session, we are actually about to explore how AI can support both coaches as well as the coachee by enhancing, or I should say, further deepening the human elements of trust, empathy. So, just before we begin and before I hand it over to our guest speaker for today, just a small, quick icebreaker activity. So, all of you, I would also request everyone to switch on their cameras, please. It's always good to have faces out right there. Thank you so much, Nisreen, Nehad. So, before we begin, just a quick activity for everyone. Choose an emoticon, an emoji that is best representing how you currently feel about AI in coaching. Anything that you feel that comes to your mind when you think about AI in coaching, and that can be shared through an emoticon, an emoji, right here in the chat windows, please. And I've just switched on the chat window. Sadhya, good one. Gauri, I would also request you. Urge everyone. Thanks, Mariam. I see your emoticon as a gesture that you have shared. Oh, lovely. Nisreen, thanks. Okay. Now, just a slight twist here. Would you use this particular emoticon that you shared in a session? Now, imagine using this particular emoticon as the mood check in before your session with the coachee. A show of hands or a thumbs up and thumbs down just to share on that. The exact emoticon that you shared in the first question, would you rather use it to check in the mood of your coachee? Or anyone, since it's a small, cozier group, anyone would want to share their thoughts as well? We would be happy to hear from you guys. Nehad, Nisreen, Mariam. Yes, please, Nehad. You want
Hi
to share?
everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, I chose the celebrating emoji. I think that I can use it in a session at the beginning of it with a check-in if an action was in place, if one of the clients had the action plan correct or it did something that is worth celebrating. I think it would be very convenient to use it.
Absolutely. And I think it just sets the tone as well, makes the coachee slightly that yes, I'm getting into a zone where it's more learning based and just a warm up activity. Hi, Jyoti. Nice to see you.
Hi.
So, on that note, I would now like to formally welcome our guest speaker, Gowri Shankar, who is an international speaker, academician, entrepreneur, and is very passionate about mentoring startups globally, specializing in AI. He is also the global ambassador for GCRAI, which is the Global Council for Responsible AI. And his recent accolade, sorry, Gauri, I was going through your LinkedIn and I have to mention it. His first Guinness World Record contribution, and that's also in AI, where he was part of the history with Microsoft for achieving the Guinness World Records for the most or I should say the maximum number of people taking an AI lesson in 24 hours. That's really incredible. And thank you so much, Gowri, for sharing your insights. And I hand it over to you now.
Thank you so much, Shruti. So really glad to be here. I think AI is making the waves across the globe. All of you would have already been accustomed to AI. You might either be using it or you might have heard about it. So today we'll try to emphasize on how much AI can be leveraged by coaches and coaches. Although I will be focusing more on the coach side of utilizing artificial intelligence. And thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to dive directly into the presentation. I'm going to share my screen. Feel free to ask questions on the chat box, any views that you want to share during the session. And then we will definitely try and see if we are able to throw more light on your clarifications, whatever it may be, right? So I'm just going full screen now. In case you're not able to see my screen or you're not able to hear my voice, feel free to put that up on the chat box, or you can let me know. Right. So thank you so much for the introduction, Shruti. So I think I don't have to dwell more on this slide. I'm just going further into the introductory slide. Now, there are a few Menti exercises that we'll be having in this particular session, although this is a very short session. It's a very limited time, but I will have a few Menti questions. So I would like to ask all of you, if you're a mobile phone or if you're using a laptop or if you have a spare device, please log into menti.com and then you can use the code 69531722 shown on the right-hand side, the bottom right side of the screen. Or you can simply take your mobile device and scan the QR code on the screen, and that will take you to the Menti screen. Otherwise, you can also type the link that is shown on the bottom right corner of the screen, right? So it's very simple. The question is one word that describes how you currently feel about AI in coaching, right? So I'm going to go into the Menti screen so that all of you will be able to start voting. And you can just type in anything over there, right? So whatever you feel about AI, especially when it comes to coaching. So considering the fact that all of you had been into coaching so far, you will know your pain points, you will know your challenges. At the same time, if you have started using AI, you will know what are the pros and cons, right? So anything that you want to share over here, it will be quite useful. So we are getting in the word cloud. So I can see you're interested, inquisitive, enthusiastic, looking forward. So I can see a lot of eagerness in learning about the tool. So I'm pretty sure that all of you are interested. I'm not sure how many of you have started using AI on a daily basis, but then after this session, you might, think about using it in positive ways, right? So we will anyway discuss about it critically. So we have hopeful, we have positive. That's really nice. Just going to go back to my Canva. So keep sharing those. I think you will still be able to see on Menti. So when we go into the next slide, you will be able to see the next Menti slide and you can start voting on that as well. So you should understand that for any new technology, there is something called the hype cycle, right? So the very first moment you get accustomed to a new technology, there will be a lot of talk or there will be a lot of commotion around it, right? So, but then slowly the technology will start settling in. It can be the internet, it can be the electricity, it can be the email, it can be the www web, which was introduced during the earlier industrial revolution. It can be the cloud, it can be quantum computing, whatever you name it, right? So all of this will have a very, exaggerated hype cycle at the early stages, and then slowly it will settle down and it will find its niche, right? So you should understand that AI is here not to replace coaches, but to expand what's possible. We will be exploring how AI can free coaches to be more human, not less. Normally in my sessions, I ask all the attendees as to what is the reason for them to use AI in the first place. There are so many reasons that you can give. It might be due to the fact that everyone else is using, so you want to use it. It might be due to the fact that you know AI is a productivity tool. You want to be more productive in life. But the question here is, when you become more productive and when you save more time, what are you going to do with that excess time in hand? Are you going to use that time to become more intelligent? This is the million-dollar question. And we will try to answer part of it during the session today. So now something, a different question for you to ponder about. What task in your coaching practice today drains your time but doesn't need your humanity? Right? I'm going to repeat that question. Let me go into Menti and then repeat it for you. Just a second. There you go. So what task in your coaching practice today drains your time but doesn't need your humanity, right? So there are a few things that we might be able to associate with ourselves as human beings, right? There are certain qualities. I'm not going to name them because I want you to self-reflect, but we will be talking about them in the upcoming slides. But you should understand that there are several monotonous tasks. There are several repetitive tasks that we might always want to take the help of someone else. We can always delegate it to someone. We can always give it to our assistant, right? So these are the tasks where AI can play a major role. So you need to be able to differentiate the tasks that can be automated, and you should be able to understand the tasks that continue to require your touch, that we call as a human touch, right? So very good points over here. Writing emails, appointments, preparing contracts, logs and tracking appointments, summarizing the sessions, note-taking, tracking calendar, right? So very good points. So this is going to translate, all the points that you have mentioned over here are going to translate into individual AI tools that are going to help coaches. And I'm also going to show some of these tools to you because these are things that I get to know from clients or from attendees or from different sessions in the past. These are all similar points, right? So, but do think of something unique as well, right? So is there anything unique that you have thought about? That these are things that do not need you anymore, but can be given to someone else, right? So don't think about AI, but think about giving it to someone else or delegating it to someone else, right? So what could be these tasks, right? So keep giving in your points, right? While we will go and discuss further. So very good points though, right? Because you will see them coming up again. So you should understand that as AI becomes more powerful, we must hold tight to something even greater. That's our human touch. Currently, we are only, scraping the surface of AI when it comes to its intellectual capacity. We are in the age of narrow AI, right? Whatever AI tool that you're using at the moment, even if it's using machine learning, even if it's using natural language processing, even if it's ChatGPT, Qwen, Copilot, Gemini, any of these tools are scraping just the surface of the narrow AI. The next level of AI is artificial general intelligence that is already being researched, and some of these tools are capable already, the very basic level of AGI, we call it, right? Artificial general intelligence. Now, that is not the end of it. AI, within the next 5 to 10 years, is going to grow into a super intelligent system. Super intelligent AI systems are also going to come into the market. It's going to come into different domains of work as well. How are we going to compete with this AI, right? So even with narrow AI capabilities, AI is able to replace human beings, right? So whatever is said and done, we need to know that there are layoffs happening across the globe with even larger firms, right? Because they have started using AI, they have started replacing human resources. Now, it is important for you to understand where human beings are or will continue to remain unique. AI tools will basically respond to you based upon available intelligence. They have been trained based upon available data set. So anything creative that AI comes up with is something that has been already done. It is not actually creative. It might not have been done in your domain. It might not have been done in your part of the world, but it might have been done elsewhere, and it is just trying to give that to you. While you might think that this is really creative, this is unique, but it might have already been done by someone else, right? You should understand that artificial intelligence is learning from human intelligence. It cannot think outside the boundary of existing human intelligence. So if you're thinking something out of the box today, then any AI system that is existing in the market today cannot predict what you have come up as a new idea, because it doesn't exist in its data set anymore. It will think about it 2 or 3 years from now, because once it gets into the system, once it gets trained on that data, then it will also be able to think like you. But until then, human beings continue to remain intellectually advanced. And you should also understand that we are all using only 5 or 10% or even much less than that of our current capacity of the brain. But once we start utilizing much more than that, we will become more intellectual, even in comparison to current AI systems. So it is important to become intelligent beings, and that will also reflect in your coaching journey. So AI can process data, but it lacks common sense, compassion, and conscience. Very, very important elements. 3 C's, you can remember them: common sense, compassion, and conscience. This is what AI systems today are lacking. They might be trained on this, a pseudo feeling that it is trying to give you, but it does not come inherently, right? That's why our role as ethical conscious humans is more vital than ever. As AI evolves, so must we, not just to be smarter, but kinder, wiser, and more inclusive. This will differentiate us from the existing AI systems, which already have issues with bias, which already have issues with hallucinations. Some of you might know, I didn't go into the basics because it's my assumption that most of you might have already started using AI and you have a basic understanding about its pros and cons. Now, the evolving role of AI in coaching, just getting it back on track, right? Because we have been talking more generalist about AI. AI has shifted from being a scheduling tool to an insight generator, right? So most of the aspects that you have addressed on the Menti slide 2, those are all repetitive, monotonous, stereotypical tasks that can be handled by AI. But AI is also helping with something else. It can generate insights. How much do you understand about your coachee? How much you understand about your coachee is also a reflection of your experience and your past. You will be able to relate with your coachee in certain aspects, and you might not be able to relate with them because their experience, their upbringing, their country, their region, their demographics might be entirely different from you. Hence, we need AI to have a holistic understanding about the behavioral pattern of coaches and also about yourself. You can do a lot of self-reflection exercises using AI. So behavioral pattern recognition, session summary automation, progress tracking, and proactive nudges, right? So these are things that AI tools can provide for you. I'm going to give you an example. Not just one, but many. I will be sharing these, the content with you, whatever is shown on this table, and I'm pretty sure the session is recorded, so you can always go back to it and look at it. I might not have sufficient time to show you each and every tool that's listed over here, but you should understand that there are tools already available to help you in your journey as a coach. We have ChatGPT. It can draft prompts, emails, it can create plans, whatever. You can do some brainstorming with it. Auto AI, I'm pretty sure some of you are using note taker tools. Auto AI is one of the note taker tools that can be linked to any of your meetings, Zoom, MS Teams, Google Meet, whatever you're using, you can always have a note taker tool if it's allowed under the policies. We have Jasper for content writing, mini course generator. There are course generators that can be utilized in order to create very relevant, fine-tuned courses just for your students or just for your mentees, right? So you can take the help of AI tools. I wouldn't say that you have to trust the content that the AI tool is generating like 100%, right? Because they are prone to hallucination and bias. It is very, very important for you to ethically understand whether that content is right and to validate that content, right? I will give you some examples of how to do that. Validation is very important. If you don't do the validation, then there is no importance for the human element in the entire process that you're dealing with, right? So the human element is important to validate the content that is being generated by these AI tools. Notion AI, very, very important tool. Goal tracking, you can create projects on this, you can organize your coaching content. All of this can be done. Rocky.ai, Copy AI, Gamma app, very, very powerful tool for creating presentations. One of you have listed presentation as something that does not need a human touch. Of course, it needs in certain aspects, but then largely it can be automated, right? So Gamma is one of the powerful tools that can do this for you. So let's say you have a session to deliver tomorrow, and you just have a brief understanding of it. You need a framework for your presentation. You need a couple of images. You need a template for your presentation and some basic content on it. If you want to generate all of this within less than 2 or 3 minutes, you can make use of tools like Gamma.app, right? I will show you an example today. Notebook LM, 𝗩𝗁𝗂𝗋 for creating websites. You might be individuals or consultants. If you want to create your own website within seconds of time, you can use tools like 𝗩𝗁𝗂𝗋. Mindset AI, which is used for mood tracking. Google AI Studio, I'll try to show you a demo today, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏.com, right? So these are not the exhaustive list of tools, but these are being used by mentors and coaches across the globe, right? So that is why I'm listing it here. And always understand that thousands of AI tools are coming to the market every day. So which means that whatever tool I talk about today, it might get outdated tomorrow. So it's important on your validity of the tool that you're using, because they might get outdated and new tools might come into the market. This is the issue with dealing with technology, right? You have to continuously update and upgrade yourself. The ethical aspects, also being a global ambassador for GCR AI, it's very, very important for me to talk about the ethical aspects of using AI. So whether to use AI or not for a particular requirement, right? So how do you draw the line and where do you draw the line? Currently, there are no enforcements when it comes to AI use. There are regulations across the globe, but there are no enforcements, which means that if you're misusing AI, if you're using it for the wrong purpose, there is no enforcement on you that can actually fine you or put you into the jail, right? However, all these are going to come soon. Normally, what I ask my attendees and mentees is that you should behave as a regulated entity. Whether you are a company or an individual, someone who is using AI, assume yourself as a regulated entity. Be true to your conscience when you're using these tools. That will solve half the problems, right? So when it comes to ethical framework, excuse me, so there is something called the 𝗏𝗏𝗏 framework, FEAT. Fairness, ethics, accountability, and transparency. These are the 4 verticals of ethical AI use, right? So make sure that you're fair when you use AI, that you're accountable, that you keep the process transparent and ethical. You can also see there is an extended framework which talks about reliability and safety, privacy and security, and inclusiveness, and so on. This is a wide chapter by itself, right, with a very large scope. But I'm only giving you some key points, and these will be available in this recorded version as well. So please go through it to understand further. Like when I say accountability, something goes wrong in your organization. Let's say something goes wrong in your organization by using AI. Do you have the policies in place to hold someone accountable for it? Who is accountable if AI goes wrong within your organization, right? You need to have the policies defined. Within your organization, you will have stakeholders, you will have C-suites, you will have board members, you will have IT managers, you will have employees, HR. So depending upon the tool that is being deployed, each one is actually accountable to an extent. Define the accountability and make sure it's documented so that people know when they misuse AI that they are actually accountable and responsible for it, right? So this is just a small example. I can go on about it, but then make sure that you go through these points, the sub points that are mentioned under each part of the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 framework. Right. So we are going to move into hands-on exercises now. I have an exhaustive exercise that I'll try and show you, but we have very limited time, which means that I will stick on to a few exercises. However, the exercise that I'm showing you on the screen right now, you can actually scan the QR code or type tinyurl.com/AI for coach, right? tinyurl.com/AI for coach. This will open a downloadable Word document I will advise all of you to download that document. Don't try to edit that document because you don't have permission for it, but you can download it and then edit it or do something with it, right? So if you want to highlight something, or if you want to mark the ones that you have completed, you can always do so. If you have time today after the session, try and complete this hands-on exercise, right? This is quite useful. Let me jump into it. So you can see I'm currently sharing on my screen the hands-on exercise. It will look like this, right? So just a Word document, simple Word document with step-by-step.
Excuse me, I didn't
Yeah.
get the link. Can you show the link again?
Yes, sure. Let me just go back to the presentation. Hope you can see it over here. Either please scan this QR code or type in tinyurl.com/AI for coach. Right. Let me just see if I can quickly copy this into the chat. Right. I have copied it into the chat as well so that you can have a look at it.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Right. So, so you can see over here, this is the first exercise going to deal with ChatGPT. We are at 6:31 now, right? So I hope we have some more time left. Now, when you type in a prompt, right? So all of us would have already started using ChatGPT, but there is something called the prompt engineering. You need to understand how to create the right prompt. Every prompt that you type might not always be the right prompt. It might not give you the accurate output. It might not give you the relevant output. So I'm going to ask you to try an exercise. If you're using ChatGPT, it's up to you to use it logged in or logged out. You can also log out of ChatGPT and use it. Normally, these tools are prone to tracking your data, right? Any kind of LLM or any type of GPT tool that you're using, it continuously monitors and tracks your data. The reason why these tools are free of cost is because they are also trying to take your data, right? And your data is wealth. So in case you don't want your data to be tracked or monitored easily, you can always log out and use these tools. Otherwise, if you're using ChatGPT, there is a mode called the temporary mode, right? The temporary mode basically doesn't track data, right? So it will be available on the top right corner of the screen. You just have to turn it on and start using it. So if you're really concerned about data privacy, either use ChatGPT or any other tool in an incognito or temporary mode. And if it's possible, if the tool allows you to use it logged out, then try to log out and use it, right? There are pros and cons in both the approaches. If you're logging in, then the tool will also learn about you. It will actually help you. So let's say if each of you have logged into ChatGPT, and if you type in the same question or prompt, each of you might get a different answer from it. This is because the tool is learning from you. So it will respond to you in a fashion that you have already interacted with it, right? So if you feel that's useful, then you can always log in, but don't share any confidential classified data into any of these GPT tools, right? Because as I told you, there are no enforcements, so you can't actually sue them, right? So, and you will never know if they're using your data, right? So number one, you're going to type in a simple prompt. You can copy paste it. Whatever is shown highlighted in blue color, it is a content that can be copy pasted into the AI tool. So a simple prompt will sound like this, right? So give me 3 coaching goals and 3 powerful questions for a team leader with imposter syndrome, right? So let's say you're dealing with someone, you're coaching or mentoring someone who has an imposter syndrome, right? So this is a special case, which means that you might not have been trained to deal with someone like that, but AI can help you with this. Now, this is one way of typing the prompt. Now, I'm going to give you something called the refined prompt. I want you to try both the prompts within ChatGPT or any other GPT tool that you're using. The refined prompt has 5 elements in it, right? Or rather, 6 important elements, I would say. 1 is the context. Number 2 is the role. Number 3 is the environment or constraints. Number 4 is the audience. Number 5, what is the task at hand? And number 6, can you give some examples to it? Right? If you can give AI some examples, then it will try to also create content which is aligned with your example. So you can give some examples to it. So this is called the Create framework that I have personally created. Whenever you want to create a prompt next time, think of the word create. C for context, R for role, E for environment, A for audience, T for task, and E for examples. If you can define your prompt this way, you will get a much refined, relevant, and accurate output out of these GPT tools. Right? So this is the difference between typing a simple prompt and a refined prompt. Right? So you can actually see the difference here, and you can also appreciate the output once you try doing it. Right? So let's see. This. So this, I'm using ChatGPT logged out. So if I'm going to, let's say, just copy paste this prompt into ChatGPT, it'll take some time depending upon your internet speed. Now that I'm also actually sharing my screen as well as I'm on video share, my ChatGPT might be a bit slower. On your end, it might be slightly faster, also depending on your internet speed. And you can see that it instantly gives you a framework to start with. Always consider this as something that you can start with. Don't blindly copy this. You will have to validate these statements as well, right? So now by looking at this, you will not know where did ChatGPT take this content from. If you're using a tool like Perplexity, right? So I can show you, there is a tool called Perplexity. Some of you might be already knowing. If you type in the same into Perplexity, it will also show you the source of the information. Where did Perplexity find this information? Where did it find this definition? Right? So all of that will also be listed. And then it is up to you to go and check those sources. If those sources are from a blog by some John Doe whom you don't even know, who had not been validated or recognized, then you cannot accept that information. If the information is from a recognized article, newspaper, any other sites that have been already validated by a lot of people, then you can accept that content, right? So even ChatGPT allows you to show the source, but then you will have to log in to see that, right? So, and then you have multiple options over here. So if you're going into the search option, it will also show the source from where it's getting the information. So in order to be ethical and responsible, make sure that you validate the content that you see, right? So always use AI tools as a starting point, right? So we all might have issues starting a document, starting a lesson plan, starting a curriculum document, or whatever it is, right? So there is something called the starting trouble. So AI allows us to overcome the starting trouble. It gives you a very good example. It gives you a good framework or blueprint that you can start with. But later, use your own knowledge, use your own expertise, and try to fine-tune these, right? So do not just go for copy-paste, right? So that is all I can share. It is up to you how you want to use AI, because there are no enforcements. But don't wait for the enforcements to come in. Behave as a regulated entity, right? So now the next exercise is on POE. The website is poe.com. You will have to create an account. If you have not created, it's okay. You can do it after the session today. The advantage of the advantage of poe.com is that it allows you to basically compare the information that you get from different GPT tools. Like for example, let me simply type. It's okay if you make typos, it'll understand. So I'm going to use the basic LLM of POE, just asking a random question, what is leadership coaching? I'm just going to enter this here. The way it works, it will be similar to an AI tool, but then there is a very big difference, right? Which I will be highlighting. There you go. So you will have, a few aspects over here that you can also go through and learn from it. Now, you can see here, there is something called the compare button. The compare button allows you to compare the same question, the response for the same question from different tools. So if you ask the same question to ChatGPT, you will get a different answer. If you ask the same question to Copilot, you will get a different answer. If you ask from Gemini, if you ask from Qwen, if you ask from DeepSeek, if you ask from Grok, everything will give you a different response. Now it is up to you to find out which is more relevant to you, which is more accurate, and you can start using that model, right? I'll just give you an example. I'm going to compare this with GPT. Just click on that. Okay, my budget doesn't allow. Well, you can try it on your side. So all these tools that I'm showing you, they will come with a minimum number of credits or coins or whatever it is. Once you have exhausted, you will have to buy new coins or you will have to buy new credits. The initial version is a free version, but then as you start using it more, it will become a premium version. I can show you a different example that was tried out before. So this was explain leadership for coaches, and you can see there is a response. Now, if I'm going to use Llama in order to answer the same question, I will get a slightly different answer. Now, all these answers helps you to brainstorm, validate, and come up with your own unique output, right? So this is not everything, right? So 𝗏𝗏 has different types of tools for different purposes. If you go over here, you will find so many applications that have been built. You can also build your own application within few minutes on 𝗏𝗏, right? I will not be able to show that in this session, but if we have a future session, I will be able to show you how you can create your own AI assistant using 𝗏𝗏, right? So which will be very, very helpful and useful. I'm going to show you Google AI Studio. This is all part of the exercise. I have given you the step-by-step process for each of this. So if I'm going fast now, excuse me, but then the process is already there, right? So I have already mentioned how you will have to use these tools. Why I'm showing Google AI Studio is that when you are trying to use an AI tool for the first time, not just AI tool, any new tool or any new technology, you can actually take the help of Google AI Studio to train you on that particular tool. Let's say you're using Canva and you're clueless how to use Canva. So what you can do is just go to Google AI Studio, and on the top left corner, you have an option called Stream. Click on Stream. And then you can see there is an option called Share Screen, right? So if you click on Share Screen, currently I'm already sharing my screen, so I'm not going to share again. It'll try to interrupt with my current the Zoom Meet. Now what you can do is you can just simply share your entire screen and go to Canva and then ask questions directly to Google AI Studio. That basically there will be an assistant who is talking to you. So the assistant will ask you, how may I help you today? And then you can just go to the new tool, whichever it is, whether you want to learn 𝗏𝗏, you want to learn ChatGPT, you want to learn Canva, and then ask the tool to teach you how to use this. And it will tell you exactly where you will have to use your mouse pointer, where you will have to move your mouse pointer, which button you will have to click, and how do you go about creating a new design using Canva. It will give you the step-by-step instruction. You can just share your screen. It will also see your screen, right? So when you're moving your mouse, it will know that you're moving. So it'll say, okay, no, that's wrong, go down, right? So it'll give you that kind of instruction. I'm not able to show that to you now because I can't, share twice. But then please try it out. All you need is a simple Gmail account. If you already have a Google account, this is free of charge. Any new tool you want to learn, even if you want to learn MATLAB, you want to learn an engineering design tool, you want to learn a new business tool, Power BI, whatever it is, just open Google AI Studio, share your screen and ask the questions. It'll give you the answers, right? So Canva, a very, very useful tool when it comes to building presentations, videos, posters, whatever it is. I'm actually using Canva for my presentations as well. Whatever is mentioned within the exercise, please try that out, right? So you can see, you can just go to Canva and type in anything over here, right? I'm using this Magic Design version. Create a presentation on AI for coaches, right? So something like this. So you can just press enter and see the magic that's happening. All you have to do is just validate and fine-tune the content, and then you can use it for presenting to your clients, your students, mentees, or whoever it is. The next important tool, Notebook LM. Again, I have given the step-by-step instruction how to use this. Very, very efficient tool, especially if you want to overcome any kind of bias, hallucination, all these issues that large language models are facing today. Notebook LM is a good solution to it. So what Notebook LM does is that it will think within the box, right? So it will think within the box. I will give you an example. Let's say leadership traits. I'm just going to go into this. You can go to Notebook LM and you can create your notebook, right? You can just say, create new notebook, and it'll create something like this. Now, once the notebook is created, you can see this add button on the top left corner. You can just click on the add button, and then you can add in some PDF documents, YouTube videos, Google documents. You can add everything that you have collected regarding that particular topic. Make sure that the data that you have collected is validated. Here, what I have done is I have just added a PDF about leadership capabilities. I have also added a very insightful video by Simon Sinek, again on leadership, right? So now what's going to happen within Notebook LM is that Notebook LM now knows only about these two files. Anything you ask, it'll answer only from these two files. It will not go for a global search like any other LLM. Notebook LM will search only from within the content that you have provided, right? So let's say I want to create a mind map. I'm going to create a mind map out of these two documents I have shared. Let's see what's happening. You can see the bottom right corner, the mind map is being generated. Once it is generated, you can click on it. So it's taking some time. It will take a few seconds depending upon the content it is reading. Some time. So one useful aspect of Notebook LM is these mind maps, which allows you to break down content into smaller bits, which will allow you to understand the concept further. That is not the only advantage. You can see there is something called deep dive conversation. What Notebook LM will do is that it will convert the entire document that I have shared and the entire YouTube video I have shared into a conversation between two people. It will just convert this script into a conversation between two people. And if you listen to that conversation between those two people, you will understand everything that is there on this document. So this is a very useful teaching tool as well. You can actually ask your students, mentees, or anyone whom you're coaching to also use this tool to explain concepts better to them. Now you can see the mind map is done. The mind map is done in very few minutes. This will take you minimum a few hours or few days to actually build, but you can see that we were able to get this within few minutes. So now the leadership for workplace of the future divided into many topics. I can expand on this. So I can say 10 leadership capabilities, and you can see all the 10 are being listed here. What does it mean to lead strategically? I'm just going to click on it, and it is going to show you some points. You don't have to go through 35, 40-page documents or 1-hour video and sit and go through everything. You just have to create a mind map, and then you can start looking at each of these bits and pieces, right? So I'm just quickly going to go into the next tool. Deep AI allows you to generate images. For coaches or for mentors, it is very important that you try and communicate information through text as well as through image and videos. So AI has made this process much more easier now. So if you want to convey any idea in the form of an image, you don't have to go and search on Google. Just create your own image free of cost. You can also create your image on ChatGPT. You can use tools like Deep AI. I will also give you a list of other tools, and you can just generate them for free. If you're using ChatGPT, there are some credits. You will only be allowed to use those credits. After that, you will have to pay. Now, if you go into the exercise, you will find that I have already given a prompt. I'm simply going to copy paste this prompt into Deep AI. And within a few seconds, I will be able to create an image. Excuse me. So another advantage is that you can also keep generating more images. Every time I click on the generate button, it will show you a different image. Now, coming to the text over here, some LLM tools are getting more and more accurate. In some tools, you will find spelling errors, right? So in such cases, what you can do is make sure that your prompt says that the text need not be included in the image. Because if the text is included, then it will make these errors very difficult to edit, right? What you can do is you can manually add the text if you want to add. But if you're using ChatGPT, then it will not make these spelling mistakes. However, the purpose I'm trying to show here is to generate image, not text on image, but to kind of generate different types of images, whatever you want to show or showcase. Right. So I think those are the tools I wanted to show you. We are already at 6:50. I took 20 minutes for this. But there are so many other examples that will be really helpful. Gamma also I have shown over here. Gamma allows you to create presentations within few seconds, few minutes. I have also added a video link. You can click on that to view. And how to use these tools like NoteTaker, Jasper, Notion AI. I have also given the step-by-step points. These are all very important tools. Since we are short of time, I'm not able to show you a few of this. And please go through the considerations over here. Right? These are very important so that you take an ethical standpoint. Every time you use an AI tool, reflect upon why you are using that tool. Do you actually want to use that tool? Right? So those considerations are important. All the use cases I have shown on the slide, I have also added to this document. You can download this, use it for future reference. And I have also added the updated tools list for 2025. Right? All different types of tools that I use to create presentations, videos. Most of these are free, but some of these are chargeable. You can just look at that. And then I have also given you a step-by-step or stage-by-stage process as to where you can integrate different AI tools in different stages of coaching. Right? And most of these tools are the ones that I have already showed you. Right? So that's pretty much it. It's a bit elaborate document, a comprehensive one, but then you can use whatever is relevant to you, whatever is important to you, and then you can just leave the rest, right? So with that, we are just done with the hands-on part. I'm just moving to the next slide. The final one on Menti, right? So please go back to Menti. The code is 69531722. Just the final question for me to understand what is the ultimate reflection of this session. Do you think AI can augment your coaching efforts, right? So after what we have seen so far, all the tools that we have seen, all that we have discussed, do you think that AI can augment your coaching efforts, right? So let me just hide this panel. So you can go to menti.com and just use the code 69531722. It will allow you to vote. And I can see only one vote over here. Feel free to put in your vote. If you think that there are chances that you might not really benefit the way you thought about it, you can also say maybe. Or if you think that you might not really benefit, it's going to make your work more difficult, more challenging, or you feel that it is not ethically right, then do share that as well, because this is a reflective exercise. I'm learning every time I teach, right? So I'm learning from everyone whom I'm sharing this with. And it's very important that you also share your standpoint so that we can build a better AI ecosystem together, right? So thank you for that. I can see a lot of yeses. You can continue to share your votes on that. And I think that leads us to the last slide. Thank you all. So coaching will always remain human at its heart, but with AI, we can offer our humanity more fully because we are going to save a lot more time being more productive. And that time that we are going to save every day, let's say 1 hour or 2 hours that you save every day, you can reflect more upon yourself as to how you can become a better professional, better person, a better coach. And you can also read through the notes from your students or mentees or whomever you are coaching. Just use that time to study more about them so that you can be more useful to them. right? So ultimately, it's about making sure that you try to give more importance to human touch, and you make sure that you are an important stakeholder in that equation, right? Because if all of us are going to believe that AI is going to take over and we give everything to AI, that will happen as well. But when we believe that human touch is more important than everything else, then that is a collective consciousness, and that is going to affect the world of the future, right? So thank you so much. And any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you so much, Gowri. I think the cheat sheet that you shared, that's something that everyone, irrespective of the profession that you are in, that will definitely be handy. I just have one question, and that's more from going through the overall content. Have you personally, and I'm sure you would have, integrated AI into your academic or entrepreneurial work where it's just surprised you? Of course, it's helpful, but it would have just surprised you or taken you off the chair. Would you like to just share
Yes,
something with us?
definitely, Shruti. So there had been many such instances. I'm handling at least 5 or 6 different domains of work at the moment, right? And I should gladly and proudly say that some of this is possible only because AI is there to help me. So just to give a very, very simple example, we have so many specialists and generalists in today's world, but people frequently have the question as to if they are doing the right thing now, whether in terms of profession or personal life. Are they in the right career for them? Are they following something that actually satisfies them? Now, what I did was I went to AI and everything that I did in my life, right? So starting from childhood, things that interested me, subjects that interested me, people that interested me, things that I do now. And then I asked AI to come up with the top 10 professional roles that will actually suit me. And it did come up with very, very interesting suggestions and things that I'm actually doing at the moment. And that gave me a sense of satisfaction, right? It was surprising as well. But at the same time, it was an internal validation to understand the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. Does it actually satisfy us? Does it actually feed our passion, right? So that is just a very simple example.
That's amazing. Any further questions before we wrap up this session? Sadia, maybe
Okay.
on your private chat, have you received anything? Of course, there are a lot of people. Thank you so much, Nisreen, Ahmed, Jyoti, Nehat, for your feedback. We are glad that you found this session helpful and insightful. Before we wrap up, then I just have a small homework for everyone. Why don't you go on ChatGPT, irrespective of the fact if you've logged in, the result will be amazing. Imagine the prompts that we are using day in, day out, whether it's rewriting an email, drafting a proposal, or even looking at analyzing a data. Go on ChatGPT and write. I've done that very recently and I was amazed with the results. Hey, ChatGPT, why don't you share something about Shruti Sood? That's it. Just my full name. And I was amazed at the kind of results that came up. It was weirdly funny as well, but overall, a very different tone of my version of what ChatGPT thinks, because it's reading, as Gowri mentioned, it's literally reading all the prompts. And of course, we need to be very mindful about the data that we are sharing. Responsible AI is one big thing, and perhaps, Gowri, we can do a follow-up session sometime and just talk about the responsible AI in detail. But yeah, just leaving on that note, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I know it's late Sunday evening for everyone, so have a fantastic rest of the evening and a great kickstart to the week ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Take care.
much, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, Gowri.
Okay.
Thank you.